Hello, this is the Podsquad. I'm Will and I'm here with
Nick.
And today we're going to be talking about For Honor. At the point we are at the moment that this is being recorded, we're just about to go into the open beta and we are about a week before release. We're about to discuss our opinions of what to expect in the beta, what to expect in the main game, and what I have taken from the closed beta that ran about a week or so, or maybe 2 weeks ago.
For someone who hasn't played the closed beta, it does seem very good. There's all the different classes. I like how they included the classes. I like how there's sort of quite a lot of strategy into how you're doing it, like especially with having a third person where you can do the roles and everything. There's different classes which are better against other ones, it seems like, and just the massive scale of the battles and that. Like, what did you get out of the actual beta?
Well, the first thing I noticed was that there is a huge range of customization in it, from the fact that you can customize your own emblem which goes on some shields or on the back of your character, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then therein you can customize each class down to various details on how they look, their stats, and also paint jobs, all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah. And that coupled with the fantastic graphics,
they do look good.
A really lovely game to sort of create your character, so to speak.
Yeah.
The control system was a bit iffy, like it takes a little bit to get into.
Yeah.
And if you're sort of someone who didn't know quite how to do it, paired off against someone who really did know quite a lot of in-depth about their particular character or class, you were at quite an obvious disadvantage.
You'll get your ass kicks.
Basically, yeah. But once you found out more about the control system, it definitely handled really nicely, sort of, once you knew what your character was supposed to handle like, so to speak.
Yeah. Another thing which I quite like about it is how they got the Vikings, Knights, Samurais. That's really good. I really like that aspect of the game. But is there any difference when you're actually playing as them, like
definitely
classes and that?
Definitely. Each class individually handles completely different to all the other classes from what I've played there. And therein, each faction has their own sort of special abilities and stuff like that, and also has sort of a way the entire faction will handle. Sort of, the Vikings' attacks are a lot heavier than everybody else's attacks and tend to do a lot more damage, but they're often more predictable. Knights have a sort of middle ground. They can have quite fast attacks, or they can have quite sort of slow and heavy attacks, and depending on how you use them, this can make a really nice synergy. And the Samurai, primarily from what I've seen, have a lot faster and a lot more sort of agile attacks that allow you to manoeuvre around your opponent.
They sort of like the lightweight sort of ones which can move around quite a lot. Don't have too much health or anything, but they can do good quick sort of attacks and get to objectives and everything.
Yeah, things like that. I mean, as Nick was mentioning, there is large-scale battles. Although there are only 4 players on a team, there are sort of NPCs fighting and a lot of environmental effects that go on around you while you're fighting these battles, which do give it a sort of quite a large sense, sort of, because you've got all your soldiers around you, you've got trebuchets coming in, like trebuchet stones, go for that.
Something going on.
Things like that, like proper sieges and stuff, which make it really nice.
One other thing which I'm very interested in is like, how are they going to do the story? Like, I know it's going to be a thing where like all of them, they somehow go through like this weird portal.
No, I don't think
that's
it
what it
is
sounded like. That's what it sounded like from different interviews and all that.
From what I've been reading of the background lore and like sort of the stuff they released during the closed beta, it seems that all 3 factions have wound up on this island for sort of their own particular story.
Oh, okay.
The Knights used to be a member of this sort of larger empire called the Iron Legion, and they've come to the island sort of seeking to repair and rebuild their empire and get the old relics that they left behind.
Oh, okay, so from like...
Yeah. Now, back when they were in the height of their empire, they fought the Vikings on this island, and they massacred them. So the Vikings were forced to flee off the island and go to another island where they then sort of set up their actual culture and stuff. They left some tribes behind. Now the Vikings have obviously come back seeking revenge and to recolonise what they view as rightfully theirs, but quite a lot of their factions are actually at civil war at the moment.
Oh, okay, so they're very disbanded in that, like quite sort of fine.
And they're trying to sort of finish the war as quickly as possible so that they can then focus on this civil war that's going on rather than fighting the other two factions.
Yeah.
And then the samurai used to live on a sort of faraway island, but a large firestorm destroyed their island and they've had to come to this new island to seek refuge. And they're sort of a dying race, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now, all three of these factions have been in war for years and years, but peace is beginning to show through.
Yeah.
But the main villain, who we have seen in the opening cinematic trailer, is a female sort of warlord person.
Oh, okay.
Who seems to want to keep the war going in order to gain power herself. I'm wondering though if they're going to do sort of a single linear cinematic campaign, or whether they'll do an individual campaign for each faction.
Yeah, that would be quite interesting.
I think there's a lot of potential for how each faction works and how each faction's individual backstory, which could very easily lend itself to 3 separate campaigns which tie into an overall story. And I think that could work really well, to be honest. And I would really like to see that. But if it was just a single linear campaign, I don't think it would be too bad, however. Because I think there is still a lot of scope that they can add in sort of quite a large universe of lore and things like that. I mean, they've already been handing out sort of information about what each class is within the faction and how they work and things like that.
I think we've talked enough about it for some. So this has been the Podsquad with me, Nick, and
me, Will.
Have a good morning, evening, or night, or afternoon.